Now at 6, the chaos over immigration enforcement in LA sparks protests here at home.
That's what this moment is about, is making sure that people have a voice.
Coming up, our Thomas Schultz has responses from city and state leaders on enforcement practices. Authorities in Washington are warning some people to lock their homes as they narrow their search for Travis Decker, the man charged of killing his 3 young daughters. We'll have the latest on efforts ahead. And a Washington soldier was honored in a huge way after he helped save a falling climber on Mount Hood. You'll hear from that now recovered climber as your KGW News at Sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Tuesday. I'm China Green. Chris McGinnis is joining me. It's just you and me, Ken.
And it's a good morning.
And it's a good morning. It's a cooler morning.
It's cooler this morning. It will be cooler this afternoon. So if those mid-90s were too hot for you, I didn't particularly care for it, but you know, my tomatoes did. So there's that. Live look over downtown Portland. The sun is up. It is bright. It is, last check at PDX, we're in the 50s. So a whole 9 degrees cooler right now than we were yesterday at this time. In fact, that's what this map is showing us. A good 8 to 10 to 12 degrees cooler now up and down the I-5 corridor compared to 24 hours ago. And that will lead to a cooler forecast for most of us later this afternoon. 49 in Hillsborough. Contrast that with the mid-90s that you had yesterday afternoon. Eugene's at 53. It still is warm east part of the state, East Gorge and out to the Columbia Basin. You've got one more day of some pretty high heat today. For those of us on the west side of the state, it will be cooler and sunny. Here's my day planner, mid-70s by lunchtime, mid-80s for daytime highs this afternoon. There will be a bit of a north-northwest breeze in the afternoon as well. Should feel quite lovely out there later this Tuesday afternoon. All right, let's get you out the door. We'll take you to Tualatin, I-5 at the 205 interchange. Bring the sunglasses, you'll need them. It's bright and sunny out there, but so far, traffic zipping right along on I-5 through the Jansen Beach area. We'll switch gears. Door number 4, I believe, takes us to photojournalist Chad Dehart. Yeah, he's making his way westbound on Interstate 84 here in the center lane. You can see he's zipping along at a speed limit clip. China, so far, no unexpected delays on the freeways.
Thank you, Chris. As protests continue in Los Angeles, President Donald Trump has ordered hundreds of Marines to the area. This all as California Governor Gavin Newsom has sued President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth over the activation of the state's National Guard. NBC's Chris Pallone has the latest.
After another night of skirmishes between protesters and police, 700 active duty Marines are joining the effort to quell the violence that erupted over the weekend in downtown Los Angeles, sent there by President Trump.
I think it would have been a very bad situation. It was heading in the wrong direction. It's now heading in the right direction.
The Marines joined thousands of National Guard troops called up against the wishes of California Governor Gavin Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass.
There was no reason for them to be here in the first place. If anything, it was a provocation.
California now asking the courts to send the military home.
Trump and Hegseth ignored law enforcement's expertise and guidance and trampled over our state's, California's, sovereignty.
The city was burning. Governor Newsom did nothing. The mayor did nothing. So President Trump, God bless him, he sent the National Guard in to save property and save lives.
Mayor Bass now urging the Trump administration to stop the immigration raids taking place throughout the area, which sparked the violent protests.
These raids do not need to take place. You are talking about people's places of work. You're talking about schools.
On Capitol Hill, disagreement over whether the military presence is helping or hurting.
Clearly the state needs help, and the president's sending help. Hopefully it'll bring some peace.
These people have zero credibility on the other side of the aisle when it comes to issues of law and order.
A war of words over how best to keep the peace. Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
And in Portland, worker protests erupted over ICE raids yesterday near the convention center. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from Northeast Portland. So Thomas, what did union members have to say?
Well, China, throughout the protests, those union members said that it was time to stand up, fight back against these Trump immigration raids. You can see some remnants of their signs still here at the park outside the convention center. Stop the ICE raids, this one reads. Now, throughout the protests, these workers say it was unfair. The National Guard had been brought to Los Angeles to patrol city streets. So far, 56 people have been arrested in massive protests against the immigration raids in LA, including David Huerta, a California labor leader with SEIU, Huerta has since been released from federal custody, but his arrest was a sparking point to this Portland protest.
That's what this moment is about, is making sure that people have a voice. And people in our country disagree all the time. And we're allowed to have voice, and we're allowed to use it. And it's part of what makes the United States the United States.
Trump advisors say they are carrying out the president's hardline immigration agenda that was central to his campaign, adding this is what America voted for. The Oregon leaders, like Portland Police Chief Bob Day, are weighing in, and he stressed his officers will not work with ICE agents. Governor Tina Kotek adding there is no reason for a deployment of the Oregon National Guard.
We do not engage in immigration enforcement, and we have been in contact with several of our immigrant communities even over the last 24 to 48 hours to assure them of that.
We are taking care of our communities. If there is any activity that needs to be taken care of, it will be done by local law enforcement. And right now, all protests have been peaceful, and there's no reason to think that will be otherwise.
And that was a key takeaway from Governor Kotek yesterday. So far, all protests have been peaceful, but she did reiterate once again that any damage, destruction to property, or violence will not be tolerated statewide. China.
Thomas, thank you. In the meantime, a Portland State University professor is under investigation after a video of them making controversial comments began spreading online. That video was recorded during a protest. In it, the professor says, quote, "I am Hamas. We are all Hamas." That's the extent of the context as we have right now. But in response, PSU's president put out a statement saying the university is, quote, unequivocally against anti-Semitism, terrorism, and hate of any kind, including the statements made in this video. But Portland State has put the professor on administrative leave while they investigate. Now, PSU is among several colleges being investigated by the Federal Department of Education over reports of anti-Semitism, many which sprung from last year's protests. The school says it's taken several steps this year to improve safety on campus while also protecting free speech. Now to the continuing search for Travis Decker, the man charged with killing his 3 young daughters. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office say that they have narrowed their search to the Ingalls Creek area west of Wenatchee. They say Decker is believed to be potentially in the area there. The Sheriff's Office is warning residents in the area to lock their homes and stay alert as law enforcement continue to search for Decker. Meantime, people gathered for a benefit concert last night in Wenatchee to grieve the loss of those 3 young girls, Peyton, Olivia, and Evelyn, you see right there in those white dresses, and support their mother, Whitney Decker.
Yeah, music is magical, and it can do things that speech can't.
The 3 girls were 9, 8, and 5 years old. A Washington soldier was honored for what he did while off duty on Mount Hood nearly a year ago. Army Staff Sergeant Callum Wilkie is stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord. Yesterday, he received the military's highest non-combat honor, the Soldier's Medal. Last July, Wilkie and his climbing partner saw a solo climber fall more than 500 feet. Wilkie stabilized the climber's injuries, kept him conscious, and helped coordinate an evacuation plan from dangerous terrain. During the ceremony, the climber also got to thank Sergeant Wilkie.
They manually held my foot straight for 6 hours on an ice-covered, snow-covered, cold mountain.
We stayed with him the entire time. We wanted to ensure that he was taken care of as best as he possibly could be.
Several search and rescue crews helped get the injured climber off the mountain. Your time now is 6:08. Headed over to Chris McGinnis. We are looking at a forecast that is a lot different than yesterday. And today we're looking at
goats.
Goats.
How many do you see? 1,
2. I can't see.
2.
You're my eyes, Chris.
3. Oh, okay. I'll give you 3. 3 goats. Today's Sunrise Show brought to you by the number 3 and the Oregon Zoo camera. Yes, the goats are liking this weather a little bit more than yesterday, I'm sure. 53 last check there at the zoo to our Chehalem tasting room camera in Sherwood. It's gorgeous right now. We've got a little bit of a high, thin cloud cover kind of veiling out the sun just a bit. Just a really picture-perfect morning down there. A little foggy at the coast right now, 51 in Lincoln City. And out towards the Dalles, it's clear and it's warm. It's 64 out there. That part of the state, East Gorge and Columbia Basin, still under heat advisory again today. It'll be hot. The Dalles, mid-90s. You get out towards Arlington, Pendleton, you could be up near the century mark again today. And there's a fire weather watch, red flag warning for increased fire danger on the Washington side of the Columbia River today as well, as the wind gusts are going to be pretty strong out there. West winds whipping through the East Gorge 30 to 35, maybe even gustier than that. West side of the state, as we cool off today, you will also notice that northwest breeze picking up later today. This is Futurecast at 6 o'clock, so around dinner time, as temperatures are in the low to mid 80s. A north breeze at 15 to 20 miles an hour. That might actually feel pretty good out there, right? Contrast that with the mid 90s from yesterday. I think we're all going to appreciate that. It's cooler to start our day. It's 55 last check at the airport, and the plan for today has us generally a good 8 to 10 degrees cooler today compared to yesterday. Futurecast stops Portland at 85, Salem at 84 again. We were in the mid 90s yesterday. I mentioned, though, high heat still possible in the East Gorge and Columbia Basin. The Dalles, low to mid 90s for you, but Arlington, Pendleton getting up to near 100 degrees, and then you folks should start to cool off a bit as we go into tomorrow. Wednesday, 81, so we continue stair-stepping down. Sean, I'll get it out of the way. The forecast over the next couple of days, boy, I don't know that it gets better than that in the Rose City. Lows near 50, highs in the low 70s, and mostly sunny each day heading into Father's Day weekend. 76 and mostly sunny on Sunday. Back to you.